YouTube? So, today I figured I would shoot out the One Drop 2016 Benchmark Series. Now, those of you who follow me on Facebook, if you don't follow me on Facebook, check me out on Facebook. It's the link to it is in the description of this video and pretty much every other video I've done in the last week and a half. Follow me on Facebook, but if you don't follow me on if you follow me on Facebook, you noticed that yesterday I threw up a picture of some beer and this beautiful One Drop Benchmark H that I got off the BST from my good buddy Brett Cosma, who was just in the very recent Trick Wars. So check Brett out there. But he sold me this for a wonderful price. Brett's a wonderful guy. And this is a wonderful yo-yo. So anyway, now that I have all four, I figured, why not shoot them out? Let's shoot them out. Let's talk about them. Let's compare them to some other yo-yos. And, kind of give you guys sort of a, an idea of what does each one compare to? Are they all the same? Do they all feel different? How does it work? So, first things first, these all have the same specs, same diameter, same width, same shipped weight with the side effects. So, size, shape, everything, size, basically all the same, weight all the same. They all come with these side effects, kind of look like the Devo hats. The name of them escapes me at the moment, but they're cool. They're kind of spiky, kind of like step down a little bit. What do they call them? I'll think of it. Anyway, so wanted to shoot them out, talk about them one at a time. So the first one, and I didn't grab it. The first one, and hang on 2 seconds because we're gonna grab in a different case. The first one we're gonna talk about is the One Drop Benchmark O. Now, I'm not the biggest fan of organic shapes. I'm just not, and it's not to say that the Benchmark O is a bad yo-yo. It's not. It's great. But the Benchmark O is probably my least favorite benchmark. Now, if you like organic shapes, you're going to love this yo-yo. But organic shapes, to me, sort of lack, in my opinion, the rim weight and the stability. So this is probably, and the spin time. So this one's probably the shortest spin of the bunch. And, to a degree, the least stable as well. Now, that's not to say that it doesn't spin a good long time or that it's unstable. It's neither of those things, just the other ones spin longer and are more stable. Now, this one, where this one comes in and is very good, is the most comfortable to hold and easiest to grind with because of the nice, how round the surface is. It's certainly the curviest one of the bunch, kind of your standard classic butterfly shape, but with a little, see if I can get that on the camera here, but with the, they all have this little step in there. You can see it showing up good on the camera. And, so it's kind of your standard butterfly shape with the step in there. Now, a lot of people are going to love this, lots of people love organic shapes. Organic shapes are great for people who, particularly if you got started throwing 10-ish years ago or whatever, or 7, 8 years ago or whatever, every yo-yo that came out was an organic type of shape. Today, we go a little bit more extreme in yo-yo shapes. As far as, what the norm is considered, I think it's a little bit more of a, rounded over, sort of like, a rounded over V or H. I think those get a little bit more, those are a little more prevalent nowadays. But there's certainly a market and a love for organic shapes within the yo-yo community, and so I totally get why an organic shape is part of the release every year. Now, as far as what to compare this to, if you've ever thought to yourself, man, I really, really like the recessed first base, but could I get, a metal version that or an aluminum version with a nice grinding finish on it, because this one doesn't, the first base doesn't grind very well, and it's plastic. Well, look no further than the 2016 Benchmark O, because these babies are basically the same shape. The first base is a little bit bigger, just to, I think because it's plastic, I think they needed to just give it more material to give it a little bit more weight. But as far as size and shape and everything, they are very, very similar. With this one being plastic, of course, and this one having a nice grind finish. So if you like the way this feels when you hold it and throw it, and you like the way this plays, you're gonna love the way the organic Benchmark 2016 shape is, the O shape. You're gonna love this one because it's basically a souped up aluminum recessed first base. At least that's how it feels. Even look, let me show you. The recessed first base even has the little step in there. See it? Yep. See it? Little step in there. Recessed first base even has the little step. So if you dig the first base, and you'll dig the O for sure. And if you dig organic shapes, awesome. Moving on. The next one I'm going to talk about here, and there's sort of a method to my madness, so bear with me, please. Next one I'm going to talk about is the one I got yesterday, the Benchmark H. So Benchmark H is, now it might just be that it's new to me. I'm going to go ahead and say that this one is probably my favorite. Very much I'm very much a H shape kind of guy. This is the biggest changed one from, they've done a 2013, a 2014, and then 2016. This one has the biggest changes thus far. The rest of them are kind of all, they changed a little bit, but this, I believe this one's what the 2013 looked like, and if you put it next to the 2016, you'll see the difference is pretty drastic. So, very different as far as the H is concerned for the 2016 benchmarks. Now, the 2016 H benchmark very much feels to me, very, very much feels to me like a 6061 aluminum version of the top deck. Now, the inner cups are similar-ish, but not really. And this one's got side effects. Now, you definitely feel a little more rim, or a little more center weight here, whereas you feel a little more rim weight on this one. But I think if you changed out the side effects to like a flat cap or something, this would feel like a 6061 version of the top deck. And that was certainly one of the, as I was throwing it, and I just got it last night, so I haven't had it too long. But as I was throwing it, I was like, this is it. The shape's not exact, but this definitely plays very similarly to how the top deck plays, just different aluminum, and this one has side effects. So, if, I would imagine if I played with the side effects a little more and switched them out, I could get it to play even a little closer to the way this one plays as far as weight distribution is concerned. So, that being said, this one is, definitely the longest spinner of the bunch. Longest spin time on this. I was very, surprised with how long the spin time was. Very stable. A little tough, at least with these side effects in it, to get it moving kind of fast. It didn't really want to, I don't play a lot of fast stuff. I'm not a real fast player, but with energy domes, that's what they're called, energy dome side effects in, it was kind of tough to get it to play a little faster. So not the fastest player of the bunch, but definitely stable, definitely super long spinning, and I really, really, really like it. Like I said, very similar to in feel and just kind of like the way it hits the string and stuff to the top deck. Just kind of, the top deck's 70-75, so it kind of feels a little heavier and a little, because there's a little more rim weight just because of the way doesn't have side effects, so it's a little more stable in that regard. But the top deck also costs a lot more than these. These are, I guess this is 68 if you were to get it with the splash, and this is Pollock. If you were to get a splash version, these would be 68. that if you were to get a just a regular color, either 57, I think 57, 58, 58 maybe. So I think the top deck in just standard color in just flat colors is 80. So for a very similar feel, and I bet if I played with the side effects and switched them in and out, I could get them a lot closer. Very comparable, in my opinion, to the way the top deck plays. Just it's not 70-75 aluminum, and it's just the side effects. So there's definitely some differences, but you can kind of tell there's a very similar feel and idea behind it, and they're both H shapes from one drop, so that kind of makes sense. So H, or Benchmark 2016 H, love it. Probably my favorite at the moment, but it's very new, so I'm gonna reserve that thought for now. So also, I just wanted to point out, and I'll point. You know what? I will wait. The inner cups are similar on all these. How it like has a step down, but if you look, and it's gonna be hard to pick up on camera. They're different. Every one of them is different. Like it kind of the step down shows up sort of in the same spot, but the way the rim curves up is different. The rim curves up very like it's very like ramped here. Here it's like very like it's a straight drop onto a flat surface, and the flat surface is a lot wider than it is here. So inner cups all vary a little bit as well, which is cool. Moving on. So the next one, and what was probably my favorite until I got the H, is the Benchmark V. Now the Benchmark V is it's your standard V shape. It's very, very much just let me see if I can find a V-shaped yo-yo. Oh, that's W. Alright, well, we're going to grab this one. It's very, very V-shaped, very, but very rounded over and still very comfortable to hold. Like the other ones, it's got the little step up in the middle. And this one, I would say, is probably the most competition-oriented. I had some ultralights in here. At one point, I stuck the flat caps on because I wanted to put the ultralights that I had in something else. But I had ultralights in here, and I got to say, particularly with the ultralights in, my thought was, wow, this feels like what would happen if One Drop made a shutter. So very, very shutter-esque in that regard as far as the Benchmark V is concerned. As you can see, the diameters are very similar, and as is the width. So similar width, similar weight, and at least with the flat caps in. Similar width, similar weight, and if you were to stick in like a centering bearing of some sort, this would be just as good of a competition yo-yo as the shutter is. And the shutter's a world champion yo-yo, so for as far as competition type specs are concerned, I would say the V is probably the most competition oriented of the 2016 benchmarks, and it plays awesome. It's the difference between this and this is very, very, very noticeable, super noticeable, as is the difference between the O and the V. So very different as far as that's concerned. Like I said, first time I threw it and put different side effects in and stuff, I was like, this plays a lot like the shutter plays. Weight distribution pretty even around, but if you put in ultralight side effects, it really feels like there's a lot of rim weight, very similarly to how the shutter feels. Which was great. I like the shutter a lot, and I really like this a lot too because of that. So, because of how it's designed. So solid design, looks good, nice comfortable V shape, plays great, feels great, is great. Definitely the most competition oriented of the bunch. As you can see, it curves up a little bit, but then you do get more flat on the cap, but the cap flatness in the center isn't as big as the one on the H, but it's also less rounded than the one on the O. So in that regard, different, plays different, but very still very, super stable. This one's a lot faster playing. I felt I could push this one a lot faster than I could push the H. So definitely cool. If you're a faster player, you may want to look more towards the V than the H, but if you're kind of a slower player who likes really long spin times to go through really long combos, H might be your way to go. I kind of like to do a lot of tricks in a row. I don't play that fast, so I preferred the H. Not that this doesn't spin a long time. It certainly does. It's not as long as the H, and it's better. It just better at going fast, which is pretty standard for a V. Now, kind of the middle ground between the H and the V is the one-drop benchmark W. Now, the W was introduced, I believe, in 2014. The 2013 stuff just had HOV, and the V in 2013 looked very much like the W, with the kind of flared out wings, the wing shape, kind of the flared out wings, and then kind of the high-ish wall in the middle that doesn't flare out as much. So this is very much a sort of balance between the V and the H shape. So there it is next to the H. There it is next to the V. If you look at the inner cup, it's you get a lot of flat cap center there, kind of like, and then it jumps right up. There's no real curve. It's just like flat and then flat. Very similar to the way the H is, but you get less flat on the cup than you do on the H. The V curves up more and is a little thicker coming up, but you kind of get the same amount of flat inner cap as you do on the W. Not very similar to the O as far as the inner is concerned. It's not so flat there. I know it looked that way when I hit the light that way, but this curves up the whole way. This is flat. So definitely kind of a, like I said, it's kind of a balance between the H and the V. Now, as far as other, this is a pretty common type of shape for one drop. It's very, very similar, although it flares a little more than the Code 2 Nautilus. Plays kind of similarly too. There's less rim weight in this than there is in the Code 2 Nautilus. As you can see, the rims on this are big and thick. This one, it's just kind of, they're long. Doesn't spin as long as the H. Probably has a similar spin time to the V, but is kind of more of a, it's not as fast as the V, and kind of has, maybe a little bit more, it's kind of a little bit more towards what the H does, as far as like, you can get a lot more spin, you get a lot more like combos in there, and it's just, the catch zone is big, and it's maybe a little more comfortable to hold and throw, and I mean, it's just an interesting shape. One Drop usually does this shape a lot. Here it is next to the Terrarian. From Terrarian. Now the Terrarian is much wider. It's a huge, wide yo-yo. But, I mean, here it is next to a Terrarian, as you can see. Similar in shape, just not as big. And then here it is next to a Countach. Here it is next to the OG Countach. As you can see, again, similar shape. Doesn't really play much like the Countach, but One Drop makes a lot of good use out of this shape. And they seem to like it a lot, because a lot of their yo-yos that are really popular and play really well kind of are this shape. So, is this kind of winged shape in some way, shape, or form with some tweaks. Probably my, I would say I like it just about as much as I like the V. Gets a lot of play. This was like my second one, and I used this one a ton when I was learning. Held up great. These are all super smooth, one drop smooth. This one, for the longest time when I would throw it, this was the one that, like, until I broke the bearing in a little bit more, and I may have over-lubed it a little bit, it would spin, and it would spin a long time, and sometimes I wouldn't even be able to tell it was still spinning. Now, it's hit the wall and the desk and a couple other things a few times. No real serious damage, but it's not I can't tell it's spinning anymore. It's still super smooth. They're all just super. Every one drop is super, super smooth. Just unbelievable. No vibe whatsoever. But it makes sounds now when it plays. It was dead silent and dead smooth for the longest time, and it was just like, I don't even know if it's still spinning, but it hasn't flopped out, so it must be. I can't say enough good things about the one drop benchmarks. I think they are all just phenomenal yo-yos. They're phenomenal players. And kind of the best part about them, and kind of one of the best parts about One Drop, is they kind of nail everything from start to finish. So if you buy a benchmark, you get, the one drop opening experience, which sometimes, you know, even they did when they shot them out, or when they blew them out, they did a like mystery box, like, which benchmark are you gonna get? I don't know. And when you opened it up, you know, you would get. That's how I got this one. That's how I got the V. You would get a benchmark, but then you'd also get some strings. You'd get maybe an extra bearing, maybe some extra pads, stickers. One Drop kills it with stickers. They'll always send you stickers if you order from them. Now, if you order from like Yo-Yo Expert and stuff, you still get stickers in there. I've gotten stuff from Yo-Yo Expert and whatnot, and One Drop still sticks the stickers in the ones that go to Yo-Yo Expert. So you get stickers, you get sometimes some strings, you get a lot of times, even if you go through Yo-Yo Expert, they're putting on like side effect, like, oh, buy a One Drop yo-yo of $50 or more, which is all of them, and you get a free side effect, and you get the Yo-Yo Expert side effect, which I have one. So, you know, One Drop really nails the unboxing experience. So you get that. Two, you kind of get to pick what your favorite shape is based on what type of player you are. Like I said, you know, if you're an old school organic player, get the O shape. If you're, you know, if you like long combos and you do like doing a lot of tricks, get an H. If, you know, you're kind of, you know, between an H and a V guy, or you're kind of between an H and a V guy, get, this is faster than the H, but, you know, maybe spins a little bit longer than a V, get a W. If you're, you know, a competition type player who likes a fast yo-yo, get a V. You know, all of them are good. All of them are good at different things, and they all, you know, they set the benchmark. You know, these are the yo-yos to which I compare all other yo-yos to, particularly within the price range. It's like, okay, I paid $60 for this yo-yo, or this yo-yo costs $60, $70. How does it compare to a One Drop benchmark? Generally, that's kind of a tough thing for any other yo-yo to stack up to, because they could charge $100 for these, and you'd be like, yeah, that's not a bad price. That's okay. But they don't, and you know, so that's why I have all of them, because they're all worth it. They're all different, and they're all worthwhile. So you know, and you get to edit them because they come with side effects, and I love that. So you know, huge kudos to One Drop. I'm really hoping they do another. I have no idea. I'm just guessing. Hoping they do another run in 2017. So keep an eye out for that. Hopefully it comes up. I'll probably end up getting one or more, knowing me. You know, if they do a 2017 run. And then maybe next year we'll shoot out what the 2017 differences are versus the 2016 differences. So that's it for me today, guys. Tell me what you think in the comments. Hope you enjoyed the shootout. Do you have some benchmarks? Do you want some more? You excited? Maybe you're going to get some 2017 benchmarks here this summer? They came out in July of last year. Maybe it'll be July again this year. But, you know, make sure you like the video. Leave me a comment. Please make sure to subscribe to the channel. But thanks so much for watching, guys. You know, nothing to drink here today, although my throat's dry. I probably should have grabbed something before I sat here and talked for 20 minutes. But cheers to you guys, and I'll see you next time.